to another episode of our live stream, My Journey to Trinity. My name's Hussein. Happy to be with you. Happy you can be with me. Hope you're having a good day. And just typical. I don't know what was the day today. It was a holiday today. Babe, what day was it today? Oh, today's Veterans Day. Shoot, you guys, I should have known that. Sorry about that. And thank you to all the veterans, especially my stepdad. And he's a veteran of the Vietnam War. And today I was thinking of doing a little something about this verse of the Quran, Quran 65, verse 4. This verse is a very controversial verse. I think you guys all know it. It's from a surah of the Quran called Surah Al-Talaq, surah of divorce. It's the surah of divorce, tells you how to divorce. In the Bible, God says he hates divorce. And Jesus was very anti-divorce, but the Quran isn't. Makes it very easy, in fact, too easy. And but this is a surah called, the whole surah is called Surah Al-Talaq, surah of divorce. I'm trying to make okay. All right. Let's just look at this verse here of the Quran. Here it says, as for your women past the age of menstruation, meaning menopausal women who've reached menopause, in case you don't know, their waiting period is 3 months. And those who have not menstruated as well. Okay, and so what this is saying, it's a thing in Arabic, it's called iddah, which is like a waiting period. Iddah, it means like the waiting period. And so after a woman divorces, there is a 3-month waiting period, supposedly, to make sure that she's not pregnant. And excuse me, it's 3 that she would menstruate, 3 times to make sure she's not pregnant. Now, you could probably say something about Muhammad's knowledge of these issues, the fact that he says you got to wait 3 months. But anyway, so that's, if for women who have menstruated, who no longer menstruate, or menopausal, the waiting period, if they divorce, you have to wait 3 months before you can marry them. Now, as you guys well know, Uthman bin Farouk did not wait 3 months, but we don't need to talk about that. And 3 months, but what is of particular concern is the next group of women that is discussed, which is those who have not menstruated as well. Who are these girls who have not, or these females who have not menstruated yet? Why have they not menstruated yet? And I'll just tell you right now that in the West, in America, a lot of apologists, Dawa Gandists, they are saying the ones who have not menstruated is talking specifically about women who have physical problems. And because of those physical problems, they don't menstruate. So they may be 30 years old, maybe 20 years old, but they don't menstruate because of physical problems. But is that what was meant by Muhammad when he wrote this in the Quran? Did he mean those who have physical ailments and conditions to where they cannot menstruate? Okay, so I want to look to see what a couple of sheikhs have to say, imams. And let me just 1 second here. These guys are TV preachers. They're like the equivalent of Billy Graham, not Bill of the standing of Billy Graham, but they're respected television preachers. And I think this is what I was looking for here. Let me see. I may. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? So I lost the volume there. So yes, we got Pinky back. Pinky phone, Pinky microphone. All right. So let me just go ahead and show you some of these sheikhs and what they have to say. I think it's very interesting, and it's in Arabic, so I will translate it for you. And they're talking about this particular verse, talking about 65 verse 4. Okay. Let me see, where is... Shoot, I got all that going there. Let me look here. Okay. So I will go ahead and close all of this. Close all of it. Okay. And then I will come here and I will sorry guys, taking a few minutes here. Oops. Okay. Okay. Let's watch this one first. Okay. This one is kind of infuriating. This one is kind of infuriating, that the stuff that this guy says. But let's listen. You know what? I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to do something else here just because this particular screen is a little bit hard to use. So I'm going to use, oh, is this here? Okay. All right. And I will go ahead and translate it for you.
واللائي لم يحضن في ذكر عدد الطلاق ومن المقصود بهن.
Okay, so this guy is asking the sheikh, okay, what is meant by when it says those who have not yet menstruated? Okay.
نعم. في قول الله تبارك وتعالى واللائي يئسن من المحيض من نسائكم إن ارتبتم فعدتهن 3 أشهر واللائي لم يحضن.
نعم.
So there he's quoting, he says, the Quran says, the women who no longer menstruate, their waiting period is 3 months, and as well as those who have not menstruated.
فأولا المقصود هو أن عدة المطلقات في هذه الآية الكريمة يتعرض لنوعين من المطلقات.
Okay, he's saying here, what this means is that there's 2 kinds of divorced women. The concern is this waiting period, this 3 months. He says, but he's saying there's 2 kinds of divorced women.
النساء اللاتي يئسن من المحيض أي
those who are menopausal, that no longer menstruate,
لكبر أو مرض ما عاد الحيض يأتيهن,
because they're old or they got sick.
فعدتهن 3 أشهر.
So you have, if they divorce before they can be remarried, have to wait 3 months.
لأنه تقدم في كتاب الله عز وجل بيان عدة المطلقات ذوات الأحمال وولاة الأحمال فأجلهن أن يضعن حملهن، وذوات الحيض بقوله تعالى 3 قروء، على الخلاف في القروء هل هي الحيض هو الصحيح أو أنها الأطهار. طيب.
So just talking about the situation of the woman who is menopausal.
الآن هذه الآية الكريمة تبين نوعين من النساء.
And again, he's saying this verse shows 2 kinds of women.
من أيست من الحيض,
the one who no longer menstruates,
واللائي يئسن من المحيض من نسائكم إن ارتبتم فعدتهن 3 أشهر.
So if they get divorced and you want to marry, someone else wants to marry them, the waiting period is 3 months.
ثم ألحق بهن واللائي لم يحضن أي
And then it says, and those who have not menstruated.
اللائي لم يحضن كذلك عدتهن.
Those who have not menstruated yet, this is the way.
3 أشهر.
They have to wait 3 months too. So if you have a girl who has not menstruated and she's been married, has consummated the marriage, and then is divorced, you have to wait 3 months before you can marry her.
هذا هو معنى الآية الكريمة.
And he says, what is the meaning of this holy verse? Holy.
هنا أهل اللغة لعله يسأل عن هذا السؤال.
There are those who ask about this question.
دلالة استعمال اللائي.
The use of the word those
بدل اللاتي.
instead of these.
أولا يعني اللاتي واللائي من حيث اللغة هي كلها تدل على جمع الإناث.
Okay, those and these mean in the Arabic language a plural of the feminine, plural feminine.
تستعمل للعاقل ولغير العاقل.
It's used for the, the intelligent or not intelligent, but aware, the mentally aware.
تستعمل للذوات وتستعمل أحيانا للأوصاف.
Okay, it's used about the self and used sometimes as a description.
ولذلك فإن اللغة تتسع لهذه المفردات.
And so the language expands for these individuals.
وتستعمل كما تقدم اللاتي واللائي واللائي كلها، وهناك بعضهم أوصلها إلى 7 ضمائر ومنهم.
And sometimes you use those, sometimes these, sometimes them, and he says altogether there are 7 pronouns.
من اقتصر على 5 ضمائر مما يدل على ما تدل عليه اللاتي واللائي.
And some people say there's 5, that have to do with those and these.
لكن بعض المعاصرين لاحظ أن القرآن الكريم ما استعمل اللائي إلا في موضعين. في موضع
But some scholars have noticed that the word ila'i is only used in two situations.
الظهار وموضع الطلاق.
In the issue of appearance and the issue of divorce.
واستنبط من ذلك أن اللائي من حيث الوضع اللغوي يعني استبدلت بالتاء في اللاتي همزة فقال اللائي.
So some say because of the way that it's written, the word those may mean these. It's unbelievable that he's gone into these detail about the pronoun. We still haven't gotten into who are these girls, okay?
أنها أقرب من حيث جرسها إلى اللأي، واللأي هو الإبطاء والمشقة والعسر. وهذا يتناسب حالة الأحوال التي استعملت فيها كلمة اللائي في القرآن الكريم، فاستعمل في الظهار واستعمل في الطلاق.
Okay, and again, he's saying that the way this word ala'i, which is like those, the way it's used in the Quran has to do with, this appearing and divorce.
لكن لا يعني الاشتقاق لللائي واللاتي أنها مشتقة من هذا، وإنما فقط هو المناسبة. نعم.
Just saying that this is the ideal word to use in this.
بعضهم حاول أيضا أن يستنبط فروقا أخرى لكنها غير صحيحة ولا ينبغي التكلف.
Some people have tried to see different branches of this, but there's no benefit in it.
لا سيما في تفسير كتاب الله عز وجل، يعني منهم من قال بأن هناك من الجموع إذا كانت قلة فيستعمل معها لفظ، وإذا كانت كثرة يستعمل، لكن هذا غير مضطرد على الصحيح في القول، لذلك ما حكيته حتى لا ينقل أصلا. هذا هو معنى الآية الكريمة. نعم، الآية في سورة الطلاق لكنها تتحدث عن عدة المطلقات.
And so this is what this verse means, and what 65:4 means. The focus of it is this waiting period for divorced females.
وهذا هو معناها، وهذا ما ذكر.
This is what it means.
يعني تحديدا أذكر الذي ذكر هذا هو الدكتور فاضل صالح السامرائي فيما
So he said the name of a doctor who talked about this, a professor.
يتعلق باستعمالات اللائي.
And talking about the use of the word ila'i, like those.
مما يمكن أن يكون مقبولا. نعم، يعني بتتبع هي 4 مواضع في القرآن الكريم ورد فيها استعمال اللائي، وكلها فعلا يعني في موضعين.
In all of the Quran, there's 4 ways that this word ila'i or those is used.
يتعلق بأمر الظهار، وفي هذين الموضعين استعمل يعني مرتين في الآية هذه، كلها تتعلق بالطلاق، عدة المطلقات إذا كن آيسات أو كن صغيرات.
Okay, now he at last, at the very end, he mentioned that this word those, and specifically talking about those who have not menstruated, and he used the word saghirat, which means they are too young. They're little girls. Saghirat. And it's at the very end that this is the first time he makes any mention of who these girls are. Okay, but he finally mentions it, but it's at the very end. I mean, he's been talking for 5 minutes now, and then in the last 10 seconds, he mentions little girls. Saghirat.
المقصود إذا كان يسأل عن حكم أيضا واللائي لم يحضن، أيضا إذا كانت صغيرة أو امتنع عنها الحيض مدة لعلة أو لمرض فإن عدتها 3 أشهر.
It says, and so the point is that these 2 groups of women that this verse talks about, one is women who no longer menstruate, And then these others who have not menstruated, either because they're little girls or because they have some kind of sickness to where they don't menstruate. So he spent 5 minutes talking about those and that and these. And then finally, at the very end, he mentions the fact that these are little girls. But he does mention that they are little girls, which is, yeah. So there you have it.
As a church to proclaim.
Oops, sorry guys. This is a bit.
ما دلالة ذكر واللائي لم يحب.
All right, so that's one of the videos, but now let me show you another one. Let me just go back, see if we have any. Oops, where are we? Oops. Okay. Yes, I'd switch to catching up history. Okay, there's sometimes appeal to the original English to say that 65.4, okay, 65.4 is about women only, but nisa can be any age. It is used in 249, 7:127, 14:6 to refer to infant girls spared by Pharaoh. Wow, awesome, you Houston. That's a really good. Thank you. Thank you for that. Wow, Houston Euler, man, really comes up with some great stuff. I just want to take a picture of that. That's an awesome. I've heard that before too, where they try to say, "Wait a minute," that it calls women. It uses the word nisa, nisa'kum. Your women. Okay. That's very good. Oops. Okay. Okay. Let me see if I can do this. Okay. Thank you, Houston, for that. That's an awesome piece of insight there. And that is an issue, you guys. The word in Arabic in this verse is nisa, which means women. Okay. It's used as women. But there are other places in the Quran where it does refer to infant girls. Like Houston says here about girls that were spared by Pharaoh in 7:127. In fact, it might be good to actually go there and look at these verses, 7:127. Okay. Let me see if I got that right. Okay, this is 7:127. It says, the chiefs of Pharaoh's people protested, "Are you going to leave Moses and his people free to spread corruption in the land and abandon you and your gods?" He responded, "We will kill their sons and keep their women." This is سنقتل أبناءهم ونسحق نستحى نساءهم. Okay, so there it's you talking about their sons and their women. Okay, and so that could be a reference to the children, because it's the same word that's used when it's talking about how Moses, when they tried to kill Moses, okay, when he was a baby. So let me just look at these other two real quick. 2:49. Okay, remember how we delivered you from the people of Pharaoh, who afflicted you with dreadful torment and slaughtering your sons and keeping your women. Okay. Nisa'akum yastahyun nisa'akum. Okay. Yadhbahun abna'akum wa yastahyun nisa'akum. Okay, so it's saying, now you see this, thank you so much, Houston Euler. This is this one is really good. Let me just put it up here. And this is actually talking about in the time of Moses. In the time of Moses, when he was a baby, and they were killing the boys, throwing them in the river, and leaving the girls, which is a story that's from the Torah. Okay, but it's very specific that this is talking about the time when Moses was a baby, and they said, remember, Pharaoh said to his officials, he said, throw all the male children into the Nile River, but the girls, you will let them live. Well, this is about that. And it says in Arabic, yadhbahun, which means to kill, abna'akum, your sons, wa yastahyun nisa'akum, and let your females live. So this word here, nisa'akum, is the same word that's used in 65:4, talking about the girls who have not yet menstruated, and it calls them nisa, which means women, but many times in the Quran it doesn't just mean women; it just means female. So thank you, Houston Euler. Very wonderful piece of information there. In fact, I want to look at the other ones too. 14:6. Let's look at 14:6. This is great. Seriously, guys, this is really great tools that you can use in witnessing to Muslims, because to show that the Quran really does say to marry little girls. Okay, 14:6. 14:6. Okay, consider when Moses said to his people, remember Allah's favor when he rescued you from the people of Pharaoh, who afflicted you with dreadful torments, slaughtering your sons and keeping your women. Okay, again, yadhbahun abna'akum, to kill your sons, wa yastahyun nisa'akum, and keep your women alive. Again, when it's talking about women, it's not talking about grown women. It's talking about the female babies. It's talking about the female babies when Pharaoh was trying to kill the males and keeping the females. And so, again, awesome piece of information there from our brother Houston, that very clearly shows that when 65:4 is talking about, sorry, my computer is being a little bit rebellious here. Okay, when it's talking about those who have not menstruated, one of the arguments that's sometimes used is that the word in Arabic, nisa'akum, your women who have not menstruated, and saying, see, this isn't about little girls, it's about women. Well, in these verses, the word women refers to little girls, baby, not even just little girls, babies, because when they were born, it's saying keep the baby girls alive and kill the boys, throw them in the river. So wow, very wonderful. And let's go ahead and look at Exodus 1:16-17. Let's look at that, and because this is where Muhammad took it from. Okay, here, like this. Okay, let's look at Exodus 1:16-17. Oops. Okay, I'm just going to read it to you guys. Just it takes so much a long time to show it here. It says, when you are helping the Hebrew women during childbirth on the delivery stool, if you see the baby is a boy, kill him. But if it's a girl, let her live. Okay, so there's where Muhammad got this story from. It's from the book of Exodus. And yeah, so there you guys have it. Just I want to look at 249 again. I just want to look at 249 again in the Quran. Wow. Thank you, Houston. Really, that was very useful information. I appreciate that. Okay, let's look one more time at what the Quran says here. And you guys, that's my wife. She's hanging curtains. So, chapter 249. Remember how we delivered you from the people of Pharaoh, who afflicted you with dreadful torment, slaughtering your sons and keeping, it's okay, baby, keeping your women. That was a severe test from your Lord. Keeping your women, again, here, يذبحون أبناءكم ويستحيون نساءكم. Killing your sons, keeping, it looks like it should be keeping your women alive, but it means your little girls. So the word nisa can be used to refer to little girls. So thank you very much. Just a great information there. So the fact that the only Quran verse that refers to child marriage is backdoored into a verse about divorce shows that the early Muslims were doing all this prior to any revelation from Allah making it halal. Wow. Yeah, because it's like taken for granted. Like, it's not like presented as this is something that you are allowed to do. It's something that they were doing, you know, and something that, well, of course, Muhammad was doing it. He married Aisha when she was 6 years old. And so it's very clear that that this does make, Javed Hashimi has a video about 65 where he makes the argument that Niset means with adults, to compare that with translations. Okay. Yeah, we could look at that. I think Aya David Gabori said, is he ashamed? I think he is. And I'm going to show you some more sheikhs who I think are ashamed of what their Quran says, but they're stuck with it because you can't not accept what the Quran says. You have to. It's Quran. It's the word of Allah. So you're kind of stuck with it. And let me just get this. This is another video about this, another sheikh. Okay, Control C. And again, it's Arabic, so I will translate it for you. Okay. 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 Oops. Am I doing this in the right place? Oops. No, I'm not. I'm not doing it in the right place. Let me just do this again. We're over here. Okay, let me okay. 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 Yeah, this is the guy here. Okay. He's saying, okay, this verse talks about those who have not menstruated. And he's asking, who are these? Who are these who've not menstruated? Who are these?
قال لك البنات الصغيرات Well, folks, before we jump
Oops.
into the news,
Sorry.
I want to say,
طب واللائي لم يحضن مين دول بقى؟
Okay, he's saying it again. Those who have not menstruated, who are they?
قال لك البنات الصغيرات اللي هم لسه ما جاش عليهم الحيض.
The little girls. Al-banat means girl. The word banat literally means girls. Okay, banat, saghirat. Saghira means small, little girls that menstruation has not yet come upon them. That's what he said.
فاللائي هذا لفظ عام.
So the word thus, those, is a general word.
يشمل البنت الصغيرة 6 سنين و4 سنين.
It includes the little girl, 6 years old, 4 years old.
يبقى بنص كلام الله عز وجل
In the text of this, of Allah Almighty,
البنت الصغيرة 6 سنين
the little girl who's 6 years old
و4 سنين.
and 4 years old,
يبقى بنص كلام الله عز وجل ينعقد الزواج من البنت التي لم تحض أصلا.
okay, and he's saying that means you can make a contract with a girl who has not menstruated yet. That's what these holy words from the Holy Quran are saying from Allah Almighty.
أهو واللائي يئسن من المحيض من نسائكم
And those of your women who no longer menstruate,
إن ارتبتم فعدتهن 3 أشهر.
and if they get divorced, you have to wait 3 months before you can marry them. Uthman bin Farouk.
واللائي لم يحض عدتهن 3 أشهر أيضا.
And those who have not menstruated, those who have not menstruated, the prepubescent girls, their waiting period is also 3 months.
واحد عقد على بنت سنها 4 سنين.
One man made a marriage contract with a girl who's 4 years old.
وعايز يتفك منها.
And then he wants to be freed from it.
أو هي عايزة تتفك منها.
Or she wants to get rid of it. Can you imagine a 4-year-old girl? A 4-year-old girl saying, I don't want to marry him. It's like,
يقوم يقول لها أنت طالق.
one day he says to her, you are divorced.
تعتد.
She objects.
لأن ربنا قال فعدتهن.
Because the Lord says their waiting period.
فهل هناك عدة أو طلاق بغير زواج؟
Now, can there be a waiting period or divorce for someone who has not been married?
شفتم في الدنيا حاجة زي كده؟
In the whole world, have you ever heard of something like this?
لا.
No.
لا تكون عدة ولا يكون طلاق إلا بعد عقد.
There can be no divorce and no waiting period unless there was the covenant of marriage.
عشان كده المرأة المخطوبة
Because of this, the woman who is engaged to be married,
ما عليهاش عدة.
she doesn't have a waiting period.
والمرأة التي لم يدخل بها
And the woman that he did not have intercourse with,
برضو ما عليهاش عدة.
there's no waiting period. You guys, he's getting into something very disgusting. Very disgusting. He's getting into something very disgusting here. And I think he's, He's saying essentially that these little girls who've not yet menstruated, why would they have a 3-month waiting period? They can't have the 3-month waiting period if there hasn't been sexual intercourse. Beautiful words. My goodness. Beautiful words. Yeah, boy, yeah. Tafsir, the same for the young women, Ibn Kafir, who have not reached the years of menstruation, right? Ibn Kathir, right? And Tafsir Ma'arif al-Quran, the same is the iddah for young women who have not yet started menstruating on the account of being underage. Yeah, and this guy just said there's no waiting period if there was no intercourse. There's no waiting period if there wasn't intercourse. That means there had to have been intercourse, then the divorce, or else it wasn't a real marriage. And then the deeper you go, just like Yasser Qadhi says, when you do the deep dive, it's when it gets worse. It gets worse and worse. Okay, there's one last one that I wanted to show you guys. Let's see this one. Okay. 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 Okay, there's the last one, you guys. I don't know. You can't really stomach much more of this, huh? Okay. I don't know what this is, but skip this. Oh, wait a minute. We already did this guy. I think the one that we want is the other one here. Okay, let me get this one. Copy. Okay. Okay, this guy. This guy's funny, man. I've done stuff with this guy before. He won the Golden Pretzel Award. Oops. Okay, this guy.
التي لم تحد إذا كانت
He's saying the one who has not menstruated.
أما عن العقد فالعقد يجوز على الصغيرة وعلى الكبيرة على السواء.
He said this is talking about the contract of marriage. The contract is possible with let me see, hear that again.
أما عن العقد فالعقد يجوز على الصغيرة وعلى الكبيرة على
Yeah, you can do the contract with the young and the old and
سواء. العقد يجوز. عقد النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم على عائشة وهي بنت 6 سنين.
This is like the contract that the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, made with Aisha when she was 6 years old.
وبنى بها وهي بنت 9 سنين.
And he had sex with her when she was 9 years old. بنى بها.
وقال تعالى في كتابه الكريم واللائي لم
And she says this in the holy book.
يحضن وولاة الأحمال أجلهن أن يضعن حملهن. يعني في قول.
Okay, I want to go back and do that again.
وولاة الأحمال أجلهن أن يضعن حملهن واللائي لم يحضن وولاة الأحمال أجلهن أن يضعن حملهن.
Okay, and talk about those who have not menstruated and those who are pregnant.
يعني في قوله تعالى.
In the words of the Almighty.
في قوله تعالى في شأن العدد عدد النساء.
In many verses.
قال الله سبحانه وتعالى.
Allah Almighty and wonderful Almighty.
في عدة المرأة التي لم تحض.
Talking about this woman who did not menstruate.
والتي يئست من المحيض.
And the one who no longer menstruates.
واللائي يئسن من المحيض من نسائكم إن ارتبتم فعدتهن 3 أشهر
And those, if they are divorced, there's a waiting period of 3 months.
واللائي لم يحضن
And because even though they don't menstruate.
اللائي لم يحضن عدتهن 3 أشهر أي أن
And those who don't menstruate, their waiting period is 3 months.
هذا يجوز للائي لم يحضن أن يتزوجن.
This is in order to marry. These who have not menstruated have to wait 3 months.
وقد سمعتم أن عائشة تزوجت
Okay, we think also about Aisha, that the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him,
النبي وبنت 6 سنين
married her when she was 6 years old.
فعليه يجوز العقد على الصغيرة. أما
So you can marry a little girl,
التمكين من البناء فإذا كانت تتحمل
but you can only have sex with her if she can't handle having sex.
البناء بني بها ولم تبلغ تلك السن التي وضعها القانون الباطل وهو الوصول بالبنت إلى 18 عاما.
And, some people say, well, the law is that you can't marry a girl till she's 18.
حتى تتزوج. فنرجو من الله أن يهدي هؤلاء الذين وضعوا القانون ويتراجعوا عنه لأنهم أفسدوا.
Those who made this law, they should. So it's kind of like he's saying, some people are saying, that women can't get married until they're 18. I hope whoever did this law will back down from it.
في الأرض وهم لا يشعرون أفسدوا في الأرض بمنع
They're spreading corruption in the land.
الفتاة التي بلغت أو التي اشتهت واشتهيت من الزواج حتى تبلغ 18 عاما.
And then they wait until they're 18 years old.
فهذا القانون لا يوافق أبدا كتاب رب.
This law about women marrying, not being able to marry until they're 18-year-old, is opposed to the book of Allah.
كتاب الله عز وجل ولا سنة رسوله صلى الله
The book of Allah, the Almighty, and the words of the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him.
عليه وسلم بل ويضيق على مبتغي الحلال ويهيئ.
How can you make forbidden what is permissible?
على فعل الفواحش والمنكرات والله أعلم.
And there's 3 corruptible things, and Allah knows best. Dang. Jeez. Dang. That was rotten, man. Dang, that was rotten. It says in Surah 12, 111, Allah says He has given detailed explanation of all things in the Quran. Do we need men to explain? Well, the thing is, nobody understands. Yeah, you're right that it says that about itself. And yet there is no details in it. There is no details in it. So they need somebody to explain it. Yeah. For instance, what's the name of Muhammad's wife? Oh, it's not in there. What about his second wife? Oh, it's not in there. What about his third wife? It's not in there. Or fourth, or fifth, or sixth, or seventh, or eighth, or ninth, or 10th, or 11th, or up to 66 women that he had relations with. None of their names are in the Quran. What about the name of Muhammad's mother? It's not in the Quran. What about the name of Cain and Abel? It's not in the Quran. What about the detail, the extreme detail, the fact that which of the brothers killed who in regard to Cain and Abel? It's not in the Quran. It doesn't say so. Or the name of the wife of Abraham. It's not in there. Or about the name of the wife of Job, who Job was commanded to beat in the Quran. In the Quran, he was commanded to beat her. In the Bible, it doesn't say that. We don't know her name. So there's so many details that are not in the Quran that we don't know. Even though it says it's detailed, we don't have those details. So, what's interesting is that when this guy, he talks about the Sunnah, the Hadith, whenever he says Muhammad, he says peace and blessings and the best of peace and blessings and prayers be upon him. I kind of feel like in light of the stuff Muhammad did, you have to say all those things to cover up for what he did. And I'll tell you, the Muslims are so sincere, and I know they're so sincere. And whenever they say the name Muhammad, they have to say peace and blessings be upon him. And it doesn't really say peace and blessings be upon him. In English, it says peace and blessings be upon him. In Arabic, it says Allah praise upon him. Sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Allah praise upon him. And I remember once I was in my village, and there was, I think it was a funeral. And so I took my dad, and there's a bunch of men sitting around drinking coffee. And one guy was talking, the relative of the man who died. And he would say something, and then he would say, in the Prophet Muhammad, and all the men together, sallallahu alayhi, peace, Allah praise upon him and blesses. So, all of that, I think, is to cover for the stuff that he did, that they know about, very sad. So, all right, you guys. Well, you know what? We made it to 52 minutes, and I didn't think we were going to make it that long, to be honest, but we did. And so, there was 65.4 for you. And, since I have you here, maybe let's just look real quickly at another surah, another source, which is, let me just do this real quick here. I want to look at Quran X. And I was interested in looking at Al-Mawdudi. Al-Mawdudi is a commentator who's a little bit more recent than the usual, than the ones that we usually deal with. We usually deal with Ibn Kathir, and we deal with Jalalain and all them. Okay. So share. Okay. So this is what Al-Mawdudi says about particularly those who've not menstruated. Okay. He actually mentions it here. Okay. It says they okay, they may not have menstruated as yet. They may not have menstruated as yet because of their young age or delayed menstrual discharge, as it happens in the case of some women, or because of no discharge all throughout the life, which, though rare, may be the case. In any case, the waiting period for such a woman is the same as the woman who has stopped menstruation, which is 3 months. Okay, so right there, it talks about, very matter-of-factly, because of young age. Because of young age, okay? One should bear in mind the fact that according to the explanation of the Quran, the question of a waiting period in respect of women with whom marriage may have been consummated, for there is no waiting period, okay, in the case of divorce pronounced. Okay, this is very important here too, you guys. This is very important right here. Okay. I want to see this actually. I want to see this. Ahzab, Surah Al-Ahzab 49. Quran.com. I think it's 33:49. Is that the right? Is it 33? Surah Al-Ahzab? Okay. Okay. Yeah. It says, "O believers, if you marry believing women and then divorce them before you touch them, they will have no waiting period for you to count. So give them a suitable compensation." So if you haven't had sex with them, there is no عدة. There's no waiting period. Wow. Wow, that is okay. Now I've heard of this, but this right here really sets it clear. 349. And you know what this tells us, you guys? You know why this is a big deal? This is Quran now. This is يا أيها الذين آمنوا إذا نكحتم المؤمنات. Jeez. Ay, ay, ay. المؤمنات ثم طلقتهن. Then divorce them من قبل إن تمسوهن. Before you touch them. فما لكم عليهن من عدة. So there's no waiting period. And what this means, you guys, is that it's absolutely saying what that sheikh said. What this is saying, okay, I'm not showing you that. Let me show you the verse. It's in Arabic, but I think there's the English too. Okay. It says, "O believers, if you marry a believing woman and then divorce them before you touch them, there will be no waiting period for you to count." There is no waiting period if there's no sex. There's no waiting period if there is no sex. That means, you guys, that these girls in 65-4 who've not menstruated, they have waiting periods, which means they had sex with these girls. So you can marry a young girl before she menstruates, prepubescent girl, have sex with her, divorce her, and she still has to wait 3 months before she can be married. She can be married again before she menstruates. You know, there was a girl, I read about her, and she was 12 years old in Sudan. And a guy needed somebody to clean his house, and so he married her, had sex with her, she's 12 years old and she's cleaning, and then he divorces her. He didn't like her, so he divorced her. And then after she was divorced, another guy wanted to marry her, and her mind snapped. Her mind just snapped. She just went crazy. Yeah, she just went crazy. Lord Jesus, have mercy. Lord Jesus, have mercy. So, you guys, I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot today. Now, some of this stuff, I've heard about it before, but I haven't seen it. So, special thanks to Houston, man. Really, that was very, very good what you shared about the Nisatkum, meaning little girls, in these passages that you shared, and also this thing about 349, where if there's no sex, there's no waiting period, meaning that these girls in 65-4 who are divorced and have a waiting period, they have had sex. The marriage was consummated, or else it's not considered a marriage. Wow. Interesting and disturbing. Interesting and very disturbing. It's like Yasser Qadhi said, when you do the deep dive, that's when it gets worse. Yes. Thank you. Houston, do you have a channel? Do you have a channel? Just in case somebody might want to go to it, because you are so knowledgeable that it seems like very to claim that these 3 verses are talking about the adult midwives, but they weren't male midwives. Well, and Exodus shows the truth. Yes, well, they weren't trying to kill those midwives. They weren't trying to kill the midwives. It specifically says that you're supposed to save the girls. So, yeah, they'll try anything to try to get out of the embarrassment of it. But the fact that, and I'll have to look for this, but I heard that this verse, one of the justifications of this verse was the fact that Muhammad had already married Aisha. Muhammad had already married Aisha. In fact, I don't know if I'll be able to find this, but let me see if I can. Okay, there's commentaries. One of the commentaries is called Asbab an-Nuzul, which is the reason for the revelation. And this supposedly gives you it does have the reason for this revelation. Okay, let me just go ahead and put this on so you guys can read it. Asbab an-Nuzul means in Arabic the reason for the revelation. And so let's just look at this and see what it says. It says, and as for such as your women as despair of menstruation, Sayyid Muqatil said, women who are divorced shall wait, keeping themselves apart. Khalid and Nu'man Qais al-Ansari said, the messenger, what is the waiting period for a woman who does not menstruate? And the woman who has not menstruated yet? And what is the waiting period for the pregnant woman? So Allah exalted as He revealed the verse. Abu Ishaq al-Mukri informed us, okay, when the waiting period for a divorced and widowed woman was mentioned in Surah Al-Baqarah, Ubay ibn Ka'b said, O Messenger, some women of Medina are saying there are other women who have not been mentioned. He asked him, who are they? He said, those who are too young, such that they have not started menstruating yet, and those who are too old, whose menstruation has stopped, and those who are pregnant. And so this verse, for such as your women in despair of menstruation, was revealed. So apparently, Ubay ibn Ka'b, who is the number one Quran reciter, Hafiz. Remember, Muhammad said, take the Quran from 4. One of them is Ubay ibn Ka'b, very important person. He's the one who said, who said to Muhammad, you know, the women are asking, what about these women? What about the little girls that they're marrying? Those who have not menstruated yet. And Muhammad gave that beautiful answer. Okay, but now I'm just kind of curious now. You guys, it's like each time you look at something, it makes you curious because it raises another question. Let me see if, okay, waiting period. I'm kind of curious about this, if there is Surah Al-Baqarah. And those who die and leave widows behind, let them observe a waiting period of 4 months and 10 days. When they have reached the end of this period, then you are not accountable for what they decide for themselves. So in chapter 2, it talks about a waiting period for widows. Those are widows who have whose husbands have died. You have to wait 4 months and 10 days before you can marry. I'm interested to see if the word is iddah. وَالَّذِينَ يَتَوَفُّونَ مِنْكُمْ. Guys, the word يَتَوَفُّونَ means to die. And Muslims agree it means to die, except when it comes to Jesus. Then they say, إِنِّي مُتَوَفِّيكَ, which is the same root word as يَتَوَفُّونَ, which means to die. It means that Jesus, Allah says to Jesus, I made you to die. إِنِّي مُتَوَفِّيكَ رَافِعَكَ إِلَيَّ. Here is the same root word, يَتَوَفُّونَ مِنْكُمْ وَيَذَّرُونَ أَزْوَاجًا يَتَرَبَّصْنَ وَنَفْسٌ. Okay, 4 أشهر و10. فإذا بلغن أجلهن فلا جناح. Okay, So there, it doesn't use the word idda. I was wondering if it used the word idda, but it doesn't use that here. So that's what I was looking for. Okay. Oh, okay. When you divorce women and they have reached the end of their waiting period, do not let the guardians prevent them from remarrying. أجلهن فلا. Okay. وإذا طلقتهم النساء فبلغن أجلهن فلا تعضلونهن إن ينكحن أزواجهن. Okay, so it doesn't use the word idda again. This waiting period is all over the place. Divorced women must wait 3 monthly cycles before they can remarry. Okay. المطلقات يتربصن بأنفسهن 3 قروء ولا يحل لهن إن يكتمن. Okay. Okay. All right, you guys. Well, Surah Al-Baqarah again. Okay. So this subject of the waiting period is all over the place. So this would be interesting to do a little bit more research on it. Seems like an interesting topic. So, all right, you guys. Thank you. Thank you for being with us and spending a little time with us. And I have my guitar here. I have my guitar, so I will do you a song since you guys were nice enough. Down, oh Lord, are a shield about me. You're my glory and the lifter of my head. Down, oh Lord, are a shield about me. You're my glory and the lifter of my head. Hallelujah. You're the lifter of my head. You're the lifter of my head. All right. Thank you, guys. Thanks for hanging out. Have a blessed night. If you haven't done it, do it now. Jesus, help me. Jesus, forgive me. Jesus, come into my heart. Jesus, help me. Jesus, forgive me. Jesus, come into my heart. يسوع ساعدني. يسوع سامحني. يسوع ادخل قلبي. We love you, and much more importantly, he loves you. God bless you guys.
ابني.
Juliana. Juliana.
هو أمي. خرج.